Yo, thanks for joining me. Welcome to TDY. For those that don't know me, my name is Winston, but you could call me Winnie. As you can see, I got my Ray Diesel on. I feel like working out, but instead I'm gonna shoot a video, so I hope y'all stick around for it. This video is actually inspired by a conversation that I had with one of my brothers on just what it's like to envision your future, right? Like what does your future look like? From envisioning it to actually road mapping out your future. I have no script for this video. I'm going off of pure experience, books, the Bible, and knowledge that has been passed down to me from people way older than me. And I plan on giving practical tips and steps that you can take to not only envision, but then roadmap out what you want your ideal future to look like. So if you're interested in that, if you have kind of no clue where you're going right now, or you're floating between ideas, then stick around for this video because it's really gonna help you. All right, so bet. First of all, we gotta talk about your future. Your future is your future. It's what you want your future to be. It can't be what you want your future to be for your parents. It can't be what they want it to be for you. It can't be what your spouse wants your future to be. It can't be what your kids, it can't be what your siblings want you to be. Your future needs to be what you want it to be. And the reason that is because to motivate yourself to accomplish anything, you need a why. And depending on how strong your why is, it's going to drive everything else that you do and every other decision that you take in your life. So for example, if you really don't feel like waking up in the morning to go to work, however, you realize that if you don't go to work this morning, you will get fired, you will not be able to pay your bills, you will have to move back in with your parents, and you will be a bum. That why is way stronger than your desire to stay in bed. See, life is a battle between desires, right? And the why is usually what wins the battle. It's usually the differentiator between this side and that side. So the reason that I say that your future needs to be what you want it to be is because you're the only thing powerful enough to give yourself a proper why. It can't be based off of your parents. It can't be based off of your siblings. It can't even be based on the love of your life. It needs to come from your core. It needs to come from your source. It needs to be your why. That's the first thing that I would recommend working on. Find your why. Why do you want to do what you want to do if you're there already? If you know what you want to do, why do you want to do it? Because the reason that you want to do it is what's going to continuously motivate you to keep it going. Now, if you have no idea what you want to do, if you have no clue where to even start, then I would suggest going with this method. This is what I suggest for all my brothers. I say, imagine yourself, right, at 35, at 50, and at 65. For the purposes of this conversation, let's do imagine yourself 30 years old, 45 years old, and 60 years old. I need you to tell me what a day in the life of a Tuesday, of a Friday, of a Saturday, and a Sunday look like. And I need you to be as descriptive as possible. And you know, a lot of the times when I ask my brothers these questions, right, you know what they say? You know, man, so I wake up and you know, I put the kids on the bus. Oh, so you have kids. Well, are you there? Are you driving your kids to school? Are you putting them on the bus? Are you picking them up? Where are you living? What time do you wake up in the morning? Are you cooking them breakfast, or are they eating breakfast at school? They get to thinking a little bit. They usually say some things like, yeah, you know, after they go to school, you know, I get ready for work and I go to work. And I'm like, oh, so you don't have a wife? What's your wife doing? Are you working from home or are you commuting? How far are you commuting? How far is this drive? How long does it take to come back from where? Is there traffic? Is there rush hour? Are you driving or are you taking a train? And then they say things like, oh yeah, on the weekend, we wake up and we clean the house and then we just relax. So are your kids in any sports? Are you going to church? What else are you doing on the weekend? How big is your house? How long does it take to clean? Is there no breakfast? Nobody's cooking breakfast? Like, this is how specific that I want you to get in crafting out these day in the lives, right? And it's not really the fact that, exactly how you plan it, it will happen. It's more so that you're thinking about it, because each decision will lead to another outcome, and each outcome is a direct result of another decision. And this is exactly what I mean. If you're waking up if your goal is to wake up and put your kids on a school bus, right? So what time are you waking up? Your job determines how early you have to wake up to get your kids ready and then get yourself ready. Are you cooking breakfast or are they eating at school? Okay, if you want to cook breakfast for your kids and you want to get them ready in the morning and you want to put them on the school bus, then either you need a job where you can show up a little bit later than 9 o'clock to the office, or you need a job that's not going to stress you out to the point where at 5 p.m. you can leave it and go home, so you have that entire night to get yourself ready for the next morning. So that should get you thinking on the type of job that you need. That should get you thinking on the type of spouse that you need. That should get you thinking on whether you want to work from home, whether you want to be in the office, whether you want to start your own business. These are the types of questions that arise when you start planning out a day in your life, right? A day in your future life. And you do this at 30 years old, you do this at 45 years old, and you do this at 60 years old. And they should not look the same. Because at 30 years old, realistically, you have little kids. At 45, there should be teenagers by now. And at 60, you should not be working. Real talk, if you do it right, at 50, you shouldn't be working. But really at 60, you should be wrapping up, right? This whole working thing. And your kids should be pretty much grown. So that's really how I want you guys thinking about these particular tactics, right? Like envisioning your life and then working backwards to plan this stuff out. So once you envision it, right, I want you to start at your end destination and I want you to work backwards. Because remember, the results are usually directly correlated to the actions that you take. So now I want you to think, if you want a desired result, what action do you have to take to get there? See, a lot of the times people think that we need to see the entire roadmap for us to know what to do. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, right? And my Bible tells me that Christ is a lamp. Christ's word is a lamp onto my feet. The thing about a lamp, right, is it doesn't show long distance. It shows short distance. And from my years of walking with Christ, what I've realized is he either shows you the very next step or he shows you the final picture and he keeps the steps blank in between because he wants you to trust him. And I totally agree with that. And I totally agree with that philosophy, and I think that that's a great way to live your life by. Because you're never going to be able to predict millions of steps ahead of you. You're really only going to be able to take action on the very next step, and you're really only ever going to be able to see that final picture, or your vision, people call it. But once you've seen your final picture, or once you've seen your vision or your destination, then you can trace it back and realize that, wow, this route definitely does not take me over there. So if you realize where you want to go, you'll realize what you have to do to get there. So I realize where I want to go. I want to be a millionaire. I want to take care of my family. I want to proclaim Christ to the nations. I want to do all these great things, right? How does playing 2K for 8 hours a day help me achieve that goal? How does sleeping in every single day help me achieve that goal? How does talking to every woman that I come across and just being a player, how does that help me achieve that goal? It doesn't. So I cross that out. On to the next decision. How does starting this channel, how does mentoring? How does reading that book? How does reading my Bible? How does exercising so I'm able to do this for a long time? How does settling down? How does all of this help me achieve that goal? It does. That's why I take those steps. When it comes to envisioning your roadmap and planning out your future, you have to realize that without a vision at the end, without light at the end of that tunnel, you're not going to accomplish anything. You can't go somewhere if you don't know where you're going. You need to set a final destination. If you're able to set a final destination, if you're able to figure out your why to each decision that you make, and you're able to work backwards to actually achieve those goals, you'll see. You'll see. Your possibilities are endless. Your potential is endless as well. It's just a matter of actualizing everything that you have planned for yourself and that God has planned for you. And I trust that if you follow these steps, y'all gonna get there and you'll be able to do it. Make sure you're growing each and every day. Make sure you're taking proactive steps towards your future each and every day. If y'all need help, once again, I'm gonna link my info in the description. Please reach out to your boy. I'm here to talk to you and guide you through anything that you might be facing. Other than that, I love y'all. Be blessed. Peace.